Okay. Hello, everybody. I am Allison, your host of the Artist on Purpose podcast, and I am here with my dear friend, Felisha Bustos of, do you have an art studio name?
Yeah, my art business is called Be Artiful.
Be Artiful. And so we're going to have a wonderful discussion about Felisha and what she does and her impact on the world of art. So start by telling us a little bit about you.
Okay. I am 47. I am single. I was married for 20 years. I was born in Southern California in Burbank, and I came here to Greeley 14 years ago, and I've made this my home. I started doing my art business here kind of by accident. My ex-husband, Luke, he was a teacher at Brentwood Middle School, and that year they were in danger of being shut down. And the superintendent at the time, not Deirdre Pilch, the superintendent at the time told them that the school was ugly and needed something to look like Bengals and Brentwood. And so the principal at the time heard that Luke's wife was an artist, and Suzette Lester, told me, hey, or she was the vice principal, and she was like, Felisha, can you just slap some cute slogans and mottos, like words, on the wall? And I'm like, I'm not going to slap anything on any walls. Like, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability, and it's like, I'm going to try to be perfect. And I was like, but I've never done that before. And it was so funny because I thought in my mind, like, schools don't make a lot of money, and I don't even know if I can do this, so I'm just going to charge $5 an hour. And they were like, deal, let's do it. And so it was so fun because I was a stay-at-home mom at the time, raising my 4 kids, and I was at a very low point in my life, and it was so fun for me to become like a part of that team, like all those teachers, and get invited to their after-school teacher parties. And I felt like I had a purpose and a target to go after. And then the kids were so cool. They were like, Miss, you're really good at art. Miss, thank you. Like, you're making our school look cool. And it just made me feel like I can do something with this art that I like. It's not just a hobby. And then from that school, I ended up being at Brentwood for about 10 years, year after year, and I brought my hourly pay up to like $30 an hour or something. But then other schools kept asking me, and then that just blew up my art business here, and it just kept growing. And I've been able to become friends with lots of different artists in the community, and it just feels like a family.
Yeah.
It's a family away from home where all of my bio family is. And so that's a little bit about me. And now I'm single, and for the last 7 years I've been single. And at the time when I was separated, I thought, okay, I'm making $1,000 a month teaching 6 private art students, and in order to keep this house, I'm going to need to go from like $1,000 a month to like $4,000 or $5,000 a month to stay afloat. And how am I going to do that with art? And I was like, okay, I'm just going to finish these last commissions that people have asked me to do. And when I finish, then I'll like go get a real job.
Right.
And I'll do a 9 to 5. I'll work at a gas station middle of the night. Like, I don't care. I just got to do something that brings in money. And it's been 7 years, and I still haven't gotten like a real job.
A real job. Yeah. What is really a real job, though?
Right?
A job means it's J-O-B, right? Just over broke. Why? Why would we want to do that?
Right.
We would just want to stay in art. So that is so cool. I didn't know that about you. And so you've just been provided with more opportunities just to continue doing it. But the truth is, we all go down that path, don't we? Mm-hmm. We don't believe in ourselves enough to think that we can actually do this. Mm-hmm. The world is not going to support us, but you just leaned into it and just continue to
And it's
accept.
so interesting because I could say, oh, I did affirmations every day, and I pulled myself up by the bootstraps, and I, started marketing all these things and making flyers and stuff, and like that's why I made it. It's like, no, every year, every step of the way, I was scared, and I did it. I was scared, and I did it. And I leaned into people's belief in me. Like, people have always believed in me more than I believed in myself. It was started with my teachers in high school, in my art classes, and Mr. Gagliotti in my high school years, my art teacher, he would enter me into art contests without telling me that he was.
Fun.
And then he'd be like, there's this reception going on in the rec center downtown. Like, I think you and your mom, you should go to it. And I'd be like, okay, my teacher told me to go somewhere. Maybe I'll get some credit. Okay. And then I would go and see a blue ribbon on my art. I'd be like, wait, what? I didn't even know I was entered. And he would just continually lift me and show, let the world show me that my art was extraordinary. And so little by little, I just kept believing in myself. And then I've been supported by people in the community, and then they've referred me to their friends who I never knew. And I wish I could tell you that I have made it work these last 7 years. It feels like the universe, I believe in God. It feels like God through people it's like it works.
Yeah.
And I have a website. I've been paying for it for the last 3 years, and still nobody knows about it because I haven't made it look good enough yet.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You know what? I haven't. It's not ready to show the image that I want to portray of my business yet. And so I wish I could tell you, oh, it's because all this traffic has gone to my website. No, it's word of mouth, and it's just me being excellent at what I do. It might take a long time for me to get the art to people because, it just takes longer than I think sometimes. But somehow it's worked, whether it be through murals or commissions or art classes or art students. It's like every year, just the right things get plopped in my lap at just the right time. And I say yes, scared.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we have to keep doing, though. Mm-hmm. It's like, can you do this? Yes. And then you go home and you go,
figure it
out. My
out.
gosh, how am I going to make that happen?
Yeah.
And then you make it work, right? Yeah, I'm familiar with that path. So tell me, what is your art? What is your primary passion? What do you do as what you do for the world? You've mentioned a couple of different things. Murals been a big part of it. But what else might it be?
Murals pay the bills fast because it's big ticket items, and so it's not like I'm always doing murals, but when I get to do a mural, it's like financially it tides me over for a month or two, and it gives me a target and something I can just keep working on. For example, when I got asked to do the mural in the student commons at Ames, it's a 15 by 18 foot mural.
Is beautiful, by the way. We'll have to show a picture of that.
Thank you. I was scared to death when I saw the wall, and it was the wall that I remembered it being, but when I actually went in the hard hat area before it was open, had the hard hat on, and they showed me, okay, it's going to be this wall. It's in this staircase in the student commons. I saw it, and I was like, yep, okay, yeah, I can do that. And inside I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never done anything like this. I'm like, okay, it's fine. I'll do anything except for faces. I'll just show them designs that are more abstract or animals or symbolic, and that way I don't have to tackle a face. But after meeting with the board and the president, Leah Bornstein, they kept saying, wait, they saw a slideshow of art that I've done in the past, and they're like, wait, go back. See that one? And it was one that I did for the city of Greeley, and it had faces on it. It was in the music alley. They're like, can you do something like that? And I'm like, yep. Yes. And it was faces. And I was like, oh, but it's it was good for me to get out of my comfort zone and push myself to that limit and see I can do big faces and the eyes are not wonky and out of place,
Right.
But so I do murals, but it's not like I'm doing those all the time.
Right.
I find that I really love color. I love vibrant color, and yes, I could use colored pencil. I can use pastels. I can use oil pastels. I can use watercolor. I can use all these things. I like to work in lots of different mediums. I find that when I work in acrylic paint or oil or even watercolor, just depending on the size. I wouldn't do a huge painting in watercolor, for example, but acrylic or oil, I can do a portrait. I can do a big size painting, and I can do these brush strokes that cover the surface quickly rather than with colored pencil, for example, right? So I have chosen paint to be my main medium, because I can like get fast results, right?
Yes.
And cover surfaces quickly. And I also have found that when I work larger scale, like a 3 foot by 4 foot painting, or like a canvas, for example, my strokes become a little looser because I'm using my full arm and I want to just cover this surface quickly. And so it gets me out of my ticky-tack detailed way of being,
Right.
and it gets me a little looser. And I like who I am in that looser space, because my default mode is to be a perfectionist and make photorealistic art and like really stare at my reference photo and like get every single nuance of that photo. And in my earlier years in high school and college age, I tested my limits in that perfectionist photorealistic stuff, and I blew myself away. I did not know I could do what I did, but now I'm bored of that. It's
Right.
like, okay, been there, done that. I don't want to spend 100, 50, 60, 70 hours on this portrait trying to get every little thing right. I already know I can. Now, what I've been doing is challenging myself to capture the essence, or that, like that feeling, that vibe, or evoke emotions, or get a message across and get looser with it, get imperfect, right? And find the beauty in that. And just because I'm here, it's not answering your exact question, but because I'm here, I find that the art that we make, it's almost like a journal entry of who we are in that exact moment in our life.
Right.
What comes out of us in our art, it's a picture of what's going on inside of us,
Yes.
what we're processing, right? So I'm in a season of life where I'm not trying to please everybody anymore. I've spent my lifetime being a people pleaser. I'm not trying to meet everybody's expectations of me. I'm trying to unlearn everything that I've learned and start from scratch and decide, like, who am I? What do I like? What do I want? What brings me joy? And let's get messy with it, and let's be okay with being imperfect. And so my art is like reflecting that. There's still that, I want it to be perfect and make everybody happy. That you'll still see that in my art. And then you'll also see like a messiness and like, yeah, I just left the edges like that, you know.
It's
So-
just not finished right there.
Yeah.
That's for me to know. That's an interesting perspective. I have done a lot of different art mediums over my lifetime, and when I do something really well, I intentionally leave an imperfection, and it's just a thing for me, because I do some things very, very well, and sometimes, I mean, anything that's paid, it's contracted or whatever, that's going to be the best that I can make it.
Yeah.
But if it's for me, I will leave an imperfection in there. And those are my favorite pieces.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's an interesting take on that. So what would you tell a new artist that wants to live as an artist? I mean, did you have a journey? It sounds like you had a very supportive journey, and everybody just supported you as an artist your whole life.
I still do.
I did not have the same experience. I never knew what I wanted to be when I grew up until I became what I was. And I didn't feel very supported in that path. And even still, sometimes they're like, oh, good for you, Allison. They don't really accept me, right? So I have to always fight for my right in this world. And so what would you say to a new artist that wants to go live life and live their life as an artist? What do you say to that person?
Great question. Every single human, of course, is unique and individual and has a story from birth till this current time of who they are. I believe that each person is creating a world around them based on how they're showing up in the world, how they think about their world, their perspective. There's wounding, there's hurt, there's trauma, there's pain, there's joy, there's dreams. All of that stuff is within that person. And so the world that they're living in is very unique and different than my world or everybody else's. Across the board, though, no matter who you are, what your story is, I encourage people to press in to their authentic self. Try to spend alone time with yourself to listen to your soul. Listen to those inner nudgings and that percolation, like that fire that's in your belly. there's these like leanings where you wake up, it could be 4 a.m, or you're taking a shower, and all of a sudden, or you're driving in a car, this thought will pop in your mind like, I wonder what it would be like to do a series of butterfly paintings and make them messy, or some black and white, or something. Like, go with it. Whatever the idea is that pops in your mind, there's a reason why it's popping in. Follow that.
Right.
And you might not even know why it's important, or why, or what you're going to learn from it, or if it's going to be worth it, or make any money from it. Follow it. There's a reason why it's there.
Right.
And other people might not understand. They might not support it. They might think you're crazy. Okay, it's not their life. It's yours. And you have your own dream and your own inner nudgings for your story. And thank goodness, Aerosmith, the Beatles, Mozart, Rembrandt, all of those people followed their inner nudgings, because we are blessed for it. And
Yes.
not everybody likes the Beatles. Some people are more into the Rolling Stones.
I don't understand that, to be perfectly
Right?
honest, but to each their own.
Right. But the people who are for the Beatles and really are moved by their lyrics and their great, we needed them to give birth to the thing that was nudging inside of them, right? And so I think every person is brilliant, wonderful, like masterful, like just magic. And it's the people who dig in and tap in to find out like what is going on inside of them, and then let that come out. Those end up being my favorite people.
Right.
Because it's just like, oh, you're just so beautiful. You're amazing. Like, we need you. And it's the people who you can tell are like puppets. Like, they allow everyone else to call the shots for them. And they're just trying to please and please and please. This was me, right?
Right.
It
Well,
is.
as a mom, I mean,
Right. But there's so many
Yeah.
reasons. Like,
Yeah.
I was trying to please religion, trying to please parents, trying to please my ethnicity, like my upbringing, being a woman, being a mother, being a wife,
Yes.
being a pastor's wife, like all the things like that. I was just trying to like do a good job, be perfect in all these areas. And then I was finding it doesn't work, because by me, making food this way makes these people happy, but makes those people unhappy. So like, who am I? And what am I about? What, right? And so back to that question, it's like, be authentic. Like, and what is authentic for you? And are you okay with going against the current and the stream, and like ruffling feathers by being your authentic self? What is the most important thing? This is another thing I'm thinking about. Forever, I was trying to create peace. Peace was like my main thing. I wanted peace inside, outside, everywhere around me. So I was trying to like create peace with my husband, with kids, with religion, with all the things. And then I'd go to sleep at night like at unrest and at a war within myself, crying, or, quietly to myself, because I didn't want to break people's peace if they saw me crying.
Right.
So it's like this quiet little inner war that I was feeling within myself, so that I could create peace around me.
right.
And then I realized, oh my gosh, it's not worth it to have a war inside to have peace on the outside that's not even real. Because then this person's unhappy with me, this, that, da, da, da. Perfection is an illusion. Control is an illusion. And I'm like, okay, what is the most important thing? I'm like, I want peace within myself.
Yes.
It might create some little wars outside of me. So be it.
So be it.
I'd rather
Absolutely.
have peace on the inside and go to sleep feeling real deep peace within myself than try to have fake peace outside of myself, not being true to who I am.
That's an incredible journey.
Yeah.
And congratulations, because I think a lot of people don't try that journey for themselves and don't realize
scary.
it's all within us.
Yeah.
We have to remember all of those decisions, all of those feelings are real, and they're on the inside. So yeah, I think that's a perfect answer to that question.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I know that you're very involved in community.
Yeah.
And community is huge when you're an artist. So tell me a little bit more about HerStory,
Yeah.
and how it started and what it is today.
So people just come in my life. It feels magical. Like it's like this river, and it's just people flow in and out of my life. It's beautiful. So this one person flowed into my life magically through another mutual friend. this friend met her in a grocery store. Darcy met Solveig in a grocery store, and then she was like, you know what? I think you need to meet Felisha. And then next thing you know, she puts our phone numbers together, we connect, and I'm like, yeah, let's go out for coffee. So I meet Solveig and her little baby daughter, Freya, and we just hit it off. We felt chemistry with each other. She's younger. I was older, you know, like mom's age-ish, aunt's age. And next thing you know, she's moving in with me. She was unhappy where she was at, and she was like, you know, I could live for, you know, she wanted to live for free with me and be like my art assistant and help me in my art business. And I was like all about helping this young lady with her baby. And I was like, this is great. I have the space. Let's do it. And that lasted about a month.
A month.
A month. She came in my life and out of my life that fast. It was like a little whisper. And within that month, we're standing in my kitchen talking, and we come up, she's like, you know, I was thinking about this HerStory, like history, but it's like HerStory. And she was like, you know, women used to do quilting bees, and they used to go meet at the watering hole, and they would talk, all different generations and ages of women. And she's like, I think we need that. We need to create that now. You know, we have all this electronic stuff. And I was like, yeah, I dig that. I love like different generations. Like I've always been around older people in my life and younger. Like I love being around all the different generations. And well, this word HerStory popped in my head, and then one thought led to another, to another, to another. And it's the kind of thing where it's like, I'm in the shower thinking about it. I'm waking up in the middle of the night thinking about it. I'm driving thinking about it. And so because I get scared of everything,
Right.
And have all these like, nope. Well, that happened with this idea of HerStory. I'm like, I had these little whispers, the nudgings. And I was like, no, I'm not doing it, because I'm not going to be in charge of all these women who are going to be like Karens, who are going to be helicopter moms, who are going to be backstabbing, who are going to be gossipy and controlling. And like, no, why would I willingly put myself in a place where all these potential bad things could happen with women? I know what happens because I was in junior high, and women, girls, whew,
They're rough on each other.
yes,
Yeah, they are.
I like guys much better, you know. And I'm like, but the point is to do something with women. It's called HerStory, not history. We already have so much history. Like, I'm like, okay, no. And so 6 times I'm telling the nudgings, no, they wouldn't go away. They were persistent.
Heard
Yeah.
a real call. didn't
Yes.
it? Yes.
And so I was like, fine, I'll try it out. I'll put it out in social media, and we'll see. Nobody's probably going to even jump. That's fine. I'll just try. So I put out this thing, hey, would anybody be interested in this thing? Like, here's this idea. Within an hour, 14 people said, I want to do that. That sounds fun. And I'm like, okay, I guess we have a thing. And then it gave me just a spark enough to be like taking that next step.
Right.
All right. And so one thing led to another. I created a logo with a painting I did from my foot during one of my art classes, and that flower became like that first logo. And then I found a font, and I created like just one step after another, and it was very grassroots. We had 47 women participate the first year. It was 2023, I think, and 2022. No, it had to be 23. And what it is we put our names in a hat, and I draw your name and you draw her name. I've never met you before, or maybe I know you really well. Doesn't matter. I've been given your name, and there are no accidents. And I reach out to you, hey, Allison, I got your name in the HerStory drawing. Let's go out for coffee. I hear your life story. You tell me whatever you feel comfortable to tell me. And then I let my intuition lead the way, and I create art in honor of your life.
Right.
And maybe I'll have 6 weeks to get it done. And then you do that for her. And then we put our art on display in the month of March, which is Women's History Month.
Yep.
And we have an art show. And then on top of it, we thought, ooh, let's have performances, because then we can invite the community and we can make it be like a party, like a thing. Let's have female entertainers. Let's have dancers. Let's have singers. Let's have female bands. The sky's the limit. Let's do it. And so it was just like, we had basically 6 to 8 weeks from the minute we had the idea
right.
to our reception. That's how much time we had. And within that time, we chose a venue, We had a logo. We had, art made. We created it to be what it was.
Yeah.
And 280 people came, and it was at the same time as Blarney on the Block in Greeley, which is like a big deal.
Big deal, yeah.
And still, we had that many people come. We charged $5 a person to get in. We made $3,000 for the silent auction, and we were able to give $700 to a women's place.
Oh.
And HerStory became like a baby. And so we're now in year 4 of it. And every year we've had it at a different venue. We have different people involved. We've had people return year after year. We've had new people come every year. And to me, it's not about the numbers of like how many people are in. It's more about the quality and the experience that we're all creating together.
Right. It's really connection.
It's all about connection.
It is totally connection.
Yeah.
And you're not just looking at local. You have artists that come in from other places
Yeah,
too,
so
right?
last year, okay. So I watched that movie, Wicked, right? The first Wicked
one
that came out, yeah. And then she's singing the Defying Gravity song.
Yes.
And when the bad witch, the green witch, sang Unlimited, and she's like, boom, belting it out, and she's on her broom, and she's in the sky, and her, and I was just like, I got chills, and I started crying, and I'm like, that's my word for the year. So all last year, my word was unlimited. And I let that word influence HerStory. And I was like, what would it look like for HerStory to be unlimited? And so I was like, I have exchange students who have lived in my home, and now they're women, like living in their countries. Like, what if they wanted to participate? And what if their friends or what other people I know from other countries? Like, it's like, let's ask.
Yeah.
And sure enough, we had 5 people from other countries be participants last year. So we had 5 countries, 12 states, 80 people were from northern Colorado, all the way to Gunnison. So I don't even know if that's considered northern Colorado, but
Gunnison
Colorado
is definitely south.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a California girl, so it's like it's all just
up there in
Colorado
the
to me.
mountains,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then 14 of them were teenage girls in their own
Wow,
cohort.
yeah.
So we had 103 participants last year. And it was wonderful. And this year I decided not to extend it into other countries. I don't know, for some reason I'm just keeping it a little bit more in. There are other states involved. And right now I think we're at 81 participants this year, and we have our last drawing today.
Last drawing is today.
Yeah,
Okay. For
yeah.
a whole nother cohort.
For another cohort. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's cool, and I'm a part of it this
Yeah.
year. So you've been on me since the beginning, and I've been a little resistant. But
Look, I look for quality people. I look for women who have integrity, and when they say they're going to do something, they do it.
Yeah.
I look for people who, when you're going to meet with somebody that you're paired up with, that I know these other 2 people who are paired with you are going to have a great experience because you're a quality human being. So there's a reason why I've been on you, because like you're the exact kind of person that I'm looking for. And I know it's just a matter of time. We all have very busy lives. We all have our own psychology, our perspectives, our stuff. And I'm like, it doesn't need to be a pressure thing. Doesn't need to be like a hassle. Like, we're not friends if you don't do. Nope. It's just, here's an invitation. I would love for you to be a part of it. When you're ready, you're welcome.
Yeah.
And then this year was the right year for you.
It was the right year. My motto is persistence beats resistance.
Ooh.
And it works every time. If you're persistent, think about little kiddos.
Yes.
Mom,
Yes.
mom. Eventually, you're going to wear down.
Yeah,
right?
you're right.
So persistence beats resistance, and it's just sometimes the resistance is something minor, and sometimes it's big, but you don't know what it is. But if you really want something, just be persistent.
That
about
is
it, right?
so good for me to think about, because in my art business, there's always times where it's like I'm putting something out there, like, would you like a portrait or a mural or whatever? And if I get any resistance, the ego part of me is like, okay, I don't want you to be mad at me. Like, I don't want to bug you. I don't want to pressure you. And so I'll just go away. But if I have that mentality, there's a way to be loving and respectful and just
They want
constantly invite, and they can say no.
They
if
can
they
say
don't
no.
want to, right?
It just may not be right now.
Right now,
We
yeah.
have to remember that.
Yeah.
I mean, because art is a business.
Right.
Bottom line, it's a
Right.
business.
Yeah.
So we have to remember that people show interest in our art, and maybe they're not financially there, maybe they're not physically in a space to
Yeah.
receive, or whatever it may be, that doesn't mean in 6 months, year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, they're not.
Yeah.
We're planting seeds as
You're
we
right.
go along,
You're right.
right?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
And I'm like
persistence.
leaving money and opportunities on the table when I let go and shy
Don't
away.
let go.
Right.
Don't
Okay.
let go. Ever. Don't let go.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's good. I love the story, and I love that you just did it. And I truly believe that when that came in your kitchen that day, that the universe heard it and knew it to be true, and that regardless of all your no's, persistence beats resistance, right?
Yes.
So
And I also think that movements are there. It's something bigger going on than any individual. Okay,
Right.
so like if Martin Luther King, and we have his day coming up here, if he had this nudging on him and he kept saying no from fear, the movement was going to happen. It was
Right.
either going to be through Martin Luther King or somebody else,
Yep.
right? Somebody who was going to be willing to obey and like follow through, even though they're scared.
be strong. Yeah.
Yeah, because there are waves of things that happen and movements. Right now, I think people are so hungry for connection, positive connection, to be their authentic self, to feel safe to do so, to let their mask down and to be real and to be received well, right? And it's always a risk because there's no guarantees. People are going to be people.
Yeah.
But if it's coached and presented in such a way where from as the leader, I can say, look, we're not here to give other people advice when they're telling us their story. We're not here to give them pat answers or to whatever control or what. We're here to listen and hold space for the people that you're listening to.
Right.
Let them tell their story in their own way and then reflect back as a mirror and through your art. This is my experience of you. This is the beauty. This is the power. This is the wisdom that I see in you, because we forget. Right? And how beautiful that is. So I do have this pain in me from middle school, elementary school, high school of girls being mean.
Right.
I didn't realize until year 2 why her story came to be through me. It's going to be something different for everybody, but for me, her story is a healing process for me to heal my thoughts about women, about females, and to repair that kind of relationship. And it's always like fingers go back to me. So Emily Nelson and her band were setting up their band in between acts at the Link Library year 2. I was on the mic as the MC, and I was like stalling, just to entertain the crowd while we're waiting for her band to get ready.
Right.
Me on a mic, watch out. Things are just going to spew out of my mouth. Like, it's just going to come out.
Right.
Okay. And so as I was like talking and interacting with different individuals in the crowd, I ended up like therapizing myself, like while I was on the mic. And I said, I was afraid of doing her story because of all the women things, right? And I said, women have hurt me in my life. They have, backstabbed, they've gossiped about me, they've spread rumors about me, they've done this. And as I was saying what other people have done to me, I had this voice in my head saying, and you have hurt women too. And I was like, while I was live on the mic talking with the audience right there in front of them, I was like, and I have hurt women too. And I realized in that moment that her story is a wake-up call for me to decide how I want to treat all the females in my life, the ones that I've met and the ones that I've never met.
Right.
Been an imposter, like wanting to show you what I want you to see of me, but inside having another story. I have talked bad about other people behind their back. Throughout my lifetime, I have been the person that I have most been hurt by.
Right.
And when that moment, I was just like, oh, her story is healing for me and repairing how I see other women and how I treat women when they're not even present.
Right.
To uphold them, right? And lift them as my sisters. And it really has helped me make better decisions when I am in private, where I'm just like, nope, not going there. She's my sister.
Yeah.
It could be a Her Story girl. It could be my friend, whether I know her or not. I get to respect her.
Yeah.
Right. So for everybody, her story is something different. But So that's what it has been for me. And so, like I was saying, movements, there's something bigger going on. And if I was going to say no to it, it was going to happen through somebody else.
Somebody else was going to pick it up and run.
Something. Yeah.
I believe that.
So I'm just trying to be faithful and obey the nudgings that are happening inside of me. And year one, Tony Garza, he was our videographer. He's like, well, Felisha, like, her story is so beautiful. Like, I love what you're doing. He's like, but you know, we have stories too. Are you going to make one for guys? And I was like, let me get this off and running. Like, I don't even know if this is going to be successful. Let me do this. And now we're in year 4, and it's a thing. Every year I've tried to not do it. I'm like, nah, I'm not going to do it this year. And then somebody will text me, when are we going to do the drawing? I've already started inviting my friends. I'm like, okay, all right, I'll do it again. And so we're in year 4, and it's a thing. And I'm like, okay, it's time to do a guy version. And so it's not going to be called His Story because His Story is so basic. It's so boring. But it's going to be called Man to Man.
Man to Man.
Yep. And June is Men's Health Month.
Okay.
And so it's going to be maybe grassroots this year, where it's going to be maybe small and intimate. And I don't know if it's going to take off, but that's not my job. My job is to, like you said, scatter the seeds, be faithful to what's coming upon me, and just make space for it and let it be what it's going to be. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and a lot of what you said, the big things to remember is, as mothers, we are not given instructions how to raise children.
Yes.
As little girls, we are not given instructions on how to interact with other girls. Mm-hmm. As young adult women, we're dealing with everything going on in our lives, our bodies, around us. And we don't have any roadmaps. There's nothing out there that says how we should be treating each other. Mm-hmm. We're just kind of living life literally by the skin of our teeth, hoping we're going to survive to the next day. Mm-hmm. So if we've hurt others, it is good to acknowledge and let go, and then do everything we can to repair, right? Yeah. So I love that journey, and I think this is good. Women are better together.
Yes,
all
we
the
are.
Time,
absolutely.
All the time. And we have to be uplifting to each other and supporting each other, even if we don't like that person.
Yeah.
If it's still a person, I mean, who knows why we don't like them? I have met many people in my life where I'm like, I just don't like you. Yeah. And I don't know why. There's no reason for it. But because the other person also was in the same position, but we're in this place together for a while, we discover what it is. And then suddenly it was like, whatever that was, we just had to move through it. Yeah. And then we became friends. Yeah. So it's hard. You have to it has to be intentional.
Well, here's the deal with HerStory. So there's like no accidents how people end up paired with who they're paired with.
I love who I'm paired with, by the way.
Yay.
So,
Yay. Sometimes you're paired with somebody who just kind of rubs you the wrong way.
Right.
And there's a reason for that because maybe there's something that you're ready to work through. She reminds you of your mom. You have a bad relationship with your mom, and you're like, oh, she just irks me, or I don't like her facial expressions, or whatever. Okay, well, it's coming up to the surface for a reason. What do you want to do with it? Right. How do you want to grow through it? Yeah. And and when you're like, let's say you're hearing somebody's story, and it's a person that you just don't jive well with, but then all of a sudden you're hearing she was abused when she was little. She was always teased for her being overweight, whatever the thing is. And now all of a sudden you're like looking in her eyes of this person that doesn't sit well with you. And you see her as a human who has a story, who has pain, who has things that are similar. Maybe you were too skinny and picked on, and she was too chubby and picked on, but the feeling is the same pain. The same and you're just like, oh. And then all of a sudden you have compassion, you have empathy, and then you see her as a person who's hurting, and the thing that you don't like about her is her operating through her fear, operating through her woundedness, and then you're like, oh, you need a hug. You know, like you just need a friend. Yeah. It's beautiful what happens when we see people as real people who have stories. Yeah.
So when is it this year? When is the big day?
Yeah, our reception is on March 7th.
Okay.
And last year we did something that we had never done before. We did this thing called Sunday Offerings, and we paired up with Heather Berry's studio, balance movement, yoga.
movement. Yep.
And she's so gracious and generous and just, she let us use her space for free. She has this amazing studio with 2 rooms, and she had her existing classes, like 5 or 6 classes that Sunday. But then with all the other time slots from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., we had HerStory participants. So like, let's say you wanted to teach a balloon making class for your hour, you could. And then I would pay you as an instructor, and people from the community could sign up and go to your offering. This is what you do. This is your passion. This is your heart. Somebody else taught, a kindness class. Sandy Shakti taught a belly dancing class. Somebody taught a swing class. So it's like people were just doing their offerings of what their passion is.
Right.
And it was a way for the community to try something they'd never tried before. And then they could keep on going to classes or pair up with that business, for example. So it's called Sunday Offerings, and that's going to be on March 8th. And that actually is International Women's Day this year. Yeah. So we'll be doing it again. This year, it's going to be from 8 a.m. to like 6 or 6:30 p.m. And I'm in the process of building those classes right now.
So that's the classes, but the reception is...
The reception is from 11 till 9 p.m. at Fiesta Mansion on March 7th.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's a new location for us as well. And
a woman-owned business.
Yep. And it's just so beautiful, like these wood floors, chandelier, like the bathrooms are beautiful. Like it's lovely. And I'm going to be working with actually any business, because like Aloe Fiber, they're a sponsor, and they sponsored us $2,000 this year again, and they did last year. They're so generous, and they love our community. They're everywhere, like helping so many people. So yeah, Aloe Fiber will have a table there, and other people, like maybe somebody who has a massage business or a cake business or a balloon business, can rent a table and then promote their business there in that space. And then we use that money to help pay the instructors, pay the entertainers, pay for the facility, and things like that. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's going to be very exciting. I'm still working on I have my concept now after talking to my person, and so
yeah, I have my art to make for my person too.
Putting it together now. So well, this has been great. I've just always loved you from a distance, and I know we haven't had
we respect each
time to really get to know each other, and I think that what you do in this world is very special and certainly very important. And so I really appreciate you taking the time to be on here with me and helping me launch Artist on Purpose.
This is so good you're doing this, and I just see it taking off. Like, there are so many artists who want a platform and to speak about the thing that they're passionate about, and you have great questions, you have a great heart, great purpose in all of this, and I think it's going to help the listeners, the artists, you, like everything. Everybody gets to win. Yeah.
Win-win. Well, how can you go wrong when there's art?
Right?
Art is in everything.
Yes.
Well, I love you dearly.
I love you too.
And I look forward to our future relationship and what we make of that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
me too.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us for Artist on Purpose with Felisha Bustos.
Thank you.